It's really interesting. When I came out of retreat, the first 3 years of retreat, I was out for a couple of months before continuing, and I had said to someone, going into a 3-year retreat is a lot like dying, because you can't kind of leave anything hanging in terms of just grasping on to, oh, I'll just pick up my life where I left it, right? When you're disappearing for that amount of time, what I said to someone was, even if I hadn't done 1 day of meditation, just the preparation and the letting go that needed to happen to prepare for that, which took about a year before the retreat started, so much letting go, because I knew that I would transform into, I didn't know what, but I knew that 3 years was enough time that I would come out a completely different person.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like hitting pause on your life, like, oh, I'm going to Europe for a couple of months, I'll sublet my apartment, I won't break up with my boyfriend, I'll just pick everything. It was like this complete blank slate. And when I said to people, it was a lot like preparing for death. And then when I came out of retreat, a friend of mine was actually in the death process, a nun, when I came out. And she asked to talk to me because she said, oh, I think you know more about what I'm going through right now than anybody else. Because I heard that you told someone that preparing for long retreat was a lot like preparing for death, just in terms of letting go of everything familiar. So that was a huge part of even the preparation. And then going into it with that attitude of letting go, of like, I'm just going into it to transform. It's like the caterpillar building the cocoon, and I'm going to come out completely unrecognizable, and I'm just going to go for it, so there was something about that. One of the things that surprised me that happened pretty early on, I didn't realize how addicted to ego gratifying feedback I was until I was in total isolation. And I realized we go around the world just like seeking ego gratifying feedback all the time. You smile at someone, they smile back at you. You got your hit. Your friends are your friends. You think they're your friends because they're the coolest people in the world. It's really because they like you and they smile at you and they think you're fun and funny and cute and all of that. And then all of that's completely stripped away when you're in solitude. And it's like your ego is just starving to death. And that's part of the process too, and it's really hard and really kind of shocking to realize that. And I think the long period of solitude allows for that level of letting go too, of just detoxing from ego gratifying feedback. I went into long retreat. I think I was kind of a black belt people pleaser. I came out, who cares what anybody thinks? I mean, I really changed the way I show up in the world, and just able to just say what I felt like was the truth and not worry so much about whether people liked it or not. Because it had been years since anybody liked anything I said. I had just gone like detox from worrying so much about what people thought. I mean, not in a way that I would go out and say harsh things, but it's like sometimes we don't say what we think is the truth in a situation because we're afraid, oh, what if, God forbid, somebody doesn't like me? That was a big transformation that I thought was really important. So much more, but I think the length of time for some of those kind of things, like I say, if it had been a shorter amount of time, I would have just put the pause button, and not really kind of gone in, willing to just strip away all of these layers of ego and armoring and just the way I dealt with the world. And so I think, obviously it came out again recognizable, but a lot had changed, I think, in terms of some of those kind of things, just from the pressure cooker. I described it like that too. It's like going into a pressure cooker of transformation. It can't help but happen.